We're solving problem 21 from the 2020 AMC 12B. How many positive integers satisfy this equation? N plus 1000 over 70 equals the floor of square root n. Recall that the floor of x is the greatest integer not exceeding x. So for this problem, we can first clarify some points. We can see that, well, the floor of the square root of n has to be less than or equal to the square root of n, because the square root of n has the chance to be an integer, and therefore the floor doesn't do anything. So this is something that we figure out, and we also know that this square root of n has to be less than or equal to the floor of the square root of n plus 1, because even if the floor of the square root of n is the least integer, or the lowest integer below it, it cannot exceed that integer, or it cannot yield an integer value for the square root, otherwise it would be equal to. So these are the things that's really going to be the roots of this problem. So we know that from this logic, n plus 1000 over 70 is going to be less than or equal to the square root of n, which is less than or equal to n plus 1070 over 70. Therefore, from these equations, we get that when you solve these, multiply it across, for these two, you multiply 70 times square root n, and then subtract it to get n minus 70 root n plus 1000 is less than or equal to 0. Now, what you can do here is you can find the roots. So in this case, you're dealing with the square root of n. So square root of n minus 50 and square root of n minus 20 is less than or equal to 0. And basically, once you figure everything out here, we're almost done here. This equation then becomes 20 is less than or equal to any known value of the square root of n less than or equal to 50. So that yields some solutions. And now we want to consider this side. So for that side, we use the same logic. N minus 70 root n plus 1070. Now, in this case, this has to be greater than 0. This has to be greater than 0. And then this yields square root n is either, well, if it's less than 35 minus root 155, or square root n is greater than 35 plus 155 square rooted. So now these equations, well, one yields 2 solutions and the other yields 4. So 2 plus 4 is simply 6. 6 solutions is our answer.